Now, first of all, I know a lot of y'all are like, damn, Alan, why it look like you dressed for the middle of December, man? Is it that cold in the Chicago area? Yes and no. It's weird. The weather here recently has been kind of like Los Angeles. If you ever lived in Los Angeles, you know there's some cities, like say in the summertime or the spring, and even more so the spring and fall, where it's warm like all day long. Like let's say maybe Miami. Whereas Los Angeles, in the wintertime and even some parts of the spring and fall, it's not warm all day in Los Angeles. It'll be like really cold in the morning and at night. But in the main, middle of the day, it'll be warm. So like, for example, you might have a day in Los Angeles where like at 6 in the morning, it might be like 40 degrees. Then between like maybe 12 noon and 6 p.m., it's like 70 degrees. But then by 8 o'clock p.m. or 9 p.m., it's back down to like 40, 45 degrees. That's the type of weather we've been having here in the Chicago area in early May. It's like it's been cold in the morning and at night, but then like in the middle of the day, it's warmer. So like, yeah, this morning it was somewhere between 40 and 45 degrees, man. So that's why you see this winter type sweater on. Now these hats I wear, these are actually multi-seasonal hats. They might look like a winter hat, but you could actually wear this hat in spring, fall, and even summer, even though it's made of wool. So yeah, this is not truly a winter hat. Yeah. Because like my brother, he has some hats just like this, and he wears these hats like even in the summertime. People with dreadlocks actually wear these type of hats in all year round. But yeah, this sweater is definitely a winter sweater. Anyway, well, I got some good news. Now, in the last couple of weeks, I've changed the format of my video podcast, where my new format is I'm going to only give you approximately 15 minutes of content for the general YouTube public. But then if I have more content to deliver for that particular YouTube video podcast or that video podcast, the remaining portion is going to be only for my Patreon subscribers. And so far, it's been working. Because, to refresh your memory, see, during that period between roughly mid-January and late March, I did an exorbitant amount of content just for the free general YouTube public. Now, people who are strictly my YouTube fans were happy about that, but my Patreon subscribers were pissed. They were pissed. A large portion of them were pissed. They were like, Alan, what's the point of us being financial supporters of your Patreon page if you're giving away a lot of your best content for free on YouTube? They was like, that don't even make no sense. And I had to agree with them. It didn't. So 2 things I did. Number 1, I took a lot of that content down. There's still a few videos I left up, but at least half of the content that I had between mid-January and late March is now Patreon exclusive videos. And so that's number 1. My Patreon subscribers are happy. And also, I've gained a lot of Patreon subscribers. Do you know in the last roughly 7, 8 weeks, my number of Patreon subscribers has gone up by 100? Yeah. Because in the first or second week of March, I had somewhere between 100 and 170 and 175 Patreon subscribers. Yeah, either the first, no later than the second week of March, I had somewhere between 170 and 175 Patreon subscribers. As of this morning, let me double check again, because somebody might have dropped. I got 277. 277. Well, man. So I've gained over 100 new Patreon subscribers in roughly the last 6 to 7 weeks. In the last 6 to 7 weeks. And I would say at least half of those have come just in the last 2 weeks. So all that to say, yeah, my new format is not only benefiting me, but it's benefiting my Patreon subscribers. Now, I'm not at a alpha male strategies level. Since people want to say, Alan, man, I think you jealous that alpha male strategies get more Patreon subscribers than you. I think that's why you always mention his name and why you always be hating on him, because he does. I've never denied that. Alpha male strategies has about 10 times more Patreon subscribers than I do. But just for clarification, once again, that has nothing to do with why I take jabs at Alpha Male Strategy. I don't care if he had 50,000 Patreon subscribers. I don't care about that. Shoot, when I went to the PatreonCon conference last November, most of y'all remember, man, it was people there that would blow Alpha Male Strategies away. I told y'all about, like, there was this one Hispanic girl. She was only like 21, 22 years old, man. She had over 1 million YouTube subscribers, and she had like 10,000 Patreon subscribers. And she's only like 21, 22 years old, man. And all she does is talk about her family life. That's all she does. All she does is talk about the ins and outs of being a daughter in her family. Like, most of her content is about her relationship with her mother, her relationship with her father, and most particularly her brother, who gets on her nerves. She did a lot of content just basically talking about how her brother gets on her nerves. And she got like 10,000 Patreon subscribers and like 1 million YouTube subscribers. I would say probably like no less than 80 to 90% of the people at the Patreon conference had either more YouTube subscribers than me, more Patreon subscribers than me, or both. And I wasn't jealous of them or angry at them. So I don't get jealous or angry at people who have more. No, again, I don't want to talk about him no more, but I'm going to just recap. There's really only two issues I have with Alpha Male Strategies. I had to narrow it down to just two things and two things only. One I said is we have just what I would call an ongoing philosophical difference of opinion. I wouldn't even call it a beef. It's just an ongoing philosophical difference of opinion, which is simply that I'm all about direct verbal game and straightforward honesty. And Alpha Male Strategies is all about sleazeball, which includes lying and manipulation. That's his thing, sleazeball game and indirect game. So just right there, we're just going to always have a philosophical difference of opinion. And then the second thing is related to my video I did earlier this week. He'd be repeating and regurgitating a lot of my material, particularly from my book, The Possibility of Sex, but he don't give me proper credit attribution for it. I ain't going to say he never has. He has at times. So let me say that. Let me clarify that. Because I know for a fact he has endorsed, I even heard him out of his own mouth, he endorsed the Beta Male Revolution. And then I've heard from his followers, people who follow both him and me, that he has encouraged people to buy my book, The Possibility of Sex. So I ain't gonna say he's never given me proper credit attribution, but he doesn't do it I don't feel like he does it on a consistent basis. So anyway, that's the only two issues that I have with him. Real quickly though, one more thing on that copycat thing, because, for people who keep saying, Alan, man, I think you might be a little overreacting. I'm going to tell you an area of the entertainment industry where copycat, really the entire entertainment industry, that's big in entertainment. Really, that's big in a lot of industries. That's why, you ever heard of the term corporate spy? Corporate spy? Most people are not familiar with that. Corporate spy. Do you know there are major corporations that would hire people to spy on a competitor to see what some of their techniques were, what some of their products that they haven't announced to the general public were, and stuff like that. That was called a corporate spy. So let's say, to give an example, let's say you got, Pepsi Cola and Coca-Cola are major rivals. Now, I'm using this as an example, so I don't want to suggest that either one of those companies has actually hired corporate spies. But let's say, for example purposes, let's say Pepsi got word that Coca-Cola was going to come out with a new flavor that they haven't announced. What they would do is hire a person to work to get hired by Coca-Cola in their research and development department, and they would find out what new soda they're working for, and then that person would report back to Pepsi, so Pepsi could come out with an equivalent product either at the same time, if not a little earlier. So yeah, there's been issues with corporations where they've had instances of corporate spies, man. So this ain't just about, dating coaches versus other dating coaches, or book authors versus other book authors. Man, this is widespread, this whole copycat shit. But I was going to talk about specifically in the entertainment industry. Most people should know if they read my Wikipedia page, I didn't do it for too long, but for about a year, I actually used to do stand-up comedy. Matter of fact, my claim to fame, I actually won a major contest in Chicago. The top contest in Chicago used to be called the Chicago Miller Lite Beer Comedy Search Contest. I won that contest in 1989, and Bernie Mac won in 1990. And but I remember, man, when I did stand-up comedy, I used to meet a lot of comedy club owners, and they would share stories with me and other comics. Oh, man. There's comedians that have literally come to blows over copycat, over one comedian copying another comedian's material. Matter of fact, I give you at least one well-known comic they said got beat up a few times. He's dead now, bless his soul. But some of y'all young people might not remember this guy, but there was a comic named Robin Williams. Robin Williams, he used to play on this TV show called Mork and Mindy. He was in a few movies like Good Will Hunting. He was a good dramatic actor too, because in that movie he was mainly a dramatic actor. But he started off as a stand-up comic. His most high-grossing movie was Mrs. Doubtfire. Mrs. Doubtfire was probably, I think, his highest-grossing movie. Robin Williams. Yeah, when I used to do comedy, man, some of the comedy club owners, when they would share stories about to do with people copying people's material. Yeah, Robin Williams, here's what Robin Williams would do. He wouldn't too much copy the material of comics who were just as well known as him or more well known than him, because, it would be too easy for people to call him out. What he would do is he would go out to different clubs across the country, and he would say, catch the act of a not too well known comic, and then say that not too well known comic had some really great material that had the audiences like laughing and just cracking up laughing. And Robin Williams would basically say to himself, well, this is not too well-known comic. He's never been on national TV, so nobody's seen his material first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal it, and then I'm going to go on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson and do his bit. And he would do that dude's bit or that woman's bit. And them comics, of course, would see him on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and they would be like, wait a minute, that's my shit. That's my shit. And so some of those not too well-known comics, if they ran into him in a club, and they happened to be in the same club Robin Williams, they would confront him. And some comedy club owners said he got into about at least a handful of fights, man. Comics literally physically attacked him for stealing their shit, man. So don't be thinking it's just an Alan Roger Currie thing, me getting bent out of shape when people got, man, anybody gonna get bent out of shape when they hear people copying their shit, man. I don't care if you're a book author, a dating coach, an inventor of some kind of technological device, some kind of, food chef, whatever, man. It's like this. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to try to leave this subject alone. But let's say I was a research scientist. And I spent 30 years researching the cure for herpes. And I finally made some discoveries that led me to what I felt was the cure for herpes. And I do a documentary video where I'm sharing my thoughts about all my research, what went into it, and how I arrived at my cure for herpes. And then some guys happen to watch that video, and then they just go on YouTube and repeat all my shit. And then people start giving them credit for coming up with the cure for herpes. instead of me, the guy who spent 30 years researching the shit. You don't think I'll be ready to whip their ass? Fuck whooping their ass. You don't think I'll be ready to kill them? Real talk? Seriously. You don't think I would be ready to kill them? Don't let me give you a dog face. That's how I feel, man, about my shit, man. I mean, the knowledge, wisdom, and insight that I share with you guys here on YouTube, my Patreon subscribers, and with my individual clients, that didn't come from 1 year of experience dealing with women, or 5 years of experience of dealing with women, or 10 years of experience of dealing with women. Dude, I'm 56 years old, man. I got over 35 years of dealing with women, man. That comes from trial and error dealing with women over like 30, 35, 40 years. So if I hear a motherfucker 10 years younger than me, 20 years younger than me, 30 years younger than me, copying my shit when I know for a fact they don't have the same number of years in personal research involved in that, in other words, they didn't pay their dues, you don't think I want to harm them? You don't think I want to harm them? Anyway. Oh, now you know I got some personal enjoyment. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna just be real. I love shutting people up. I love shutting people up. Especially shutting people up to the point where they have to offer me an apology. And I had one guy, I can't remember if he came in my comment section or I think he wrote me an email, and he said, Alan, you acting like you totally own the concept of no free attention. I've heard probably like 9 or 10 different pickup artists and dating coaches use that phrase, no free attention. I said, if they did, they got it from me. He said, I bet right now, if I go on Google and put in no free attention, there's probably going to be at least 10 to 15 dating coaches or pickup artists that something's going to come up about them using that phrase. And so I said, go ahead. Google no free attention. Because I knew what he was going to find. Sure enough. So if you don't believe me, go right now on your computer. Google no free attention and see if there's 10 or 15 pickup artists or dating coaches that come up. I guarantee you, unless your computer is different than mine, if you put in no free attention in Google, the first thing that comes up is my video from 2017 called No Free Attention, an Introduction to Manipulative Time Wasters. No free attention, an introduction to manipulative time wasters. That's the first thing that shows up. And I think I'm the only, on page 1, I'm the only like dating coach that comes up talking about no free attention. So that just shows you how that slogan is associated with me. Now, since I brought up manipulative time wasters, speaking of manipulative time wasters, what was I going to say? Okay, now, you know my book, The Possibility of Sex, is about manipulative time wasters. Here's the thing. As you know, manipulative time wasters are basically just delayed rejectors. Delayed rejectors. That's all they are, is delayed rejectors. Rejectors tell you they're not interested in you in an upfront, specific, and straightforwardly honest manner. Manipulative time wasters are delayed rejectors. Why do women delay rejecting you? Let Alan Roger Currie break shit down for you.